As I was running errands this morning, a Frightened Rabbit song came on, and I got taken away by the inspiration to make another story behind the story, this time talking about the music that inspired my creative process. First and foremost, obviously the National. I mean, it's called The Terrible Love Memoirs for a reason. But also at that time, I had two other bands on repeat, and Frightened Rabbit was one of them. Aaron Dresner had worked with them to produce Painting of a Panic Attack, which I downloaded right before I went on a little writing trip to Boston. My book was done and I was diving hard into edits at this point. And I downloaded that album and I put it on repeat and listened to it for an entire week while I sat in this little Airbnb in Charlestown and edited, wrote new stuff, ran the, oh my gosh, there's that little trail. I cannot believe I'm forgetting it right now, but it's that brick trail that starts at the monument in Charlestown and finishes in downtown. Ran that every day, and it just, that music stuck in my soul. I was so obsessed. And as part of my whole taking this full circle, I went to see the National, and I really wanted to go see Frightened Rabbit. Just moved to San Diego, and they were playing on the East Coast. So 3 days after I drove myself to San Diego, I got in a plane and flew to Portland, Maine, and went to that concert all by myself. I met a couple girls and we just made the most of it, pushed our way up to the front, sat, watched Scott Hutchinson do his thing. It was amazing. And after the show, I went up to the guy who was selling t-shirts and I kind of gave him my sad story and asked if there was any way I could meet the band, because I really wanted to thank him for the inspiration and honestly to tell him keep going, this work is beautiful and profound, and I'm sure they get that all the time, but I wanted to say it myself. And so he kind of gave me this little hint about around the corner, and me and these other two girls I met made our way around there, and it turned out that the opening girl, who I'd actually seen open for for the National probably 5 months before that, was sitting outside, and I recognized her right away. So I went up and kicked off a conversation, and then shortly thereafter, Grant comes down, and then sure enough, Scott comes down, and we just hung out back with them and talked about writing, talked about the creative process. I did have to ask, what was it like working with Aaron Dresner? Because, oh my God, whatever he touches is genius. But, we talked about death and darkness and writing about those topics and how all consuming it is. And I was so honored at how humble he was and approachable he was, just this everyday guy. And I think that really is the beauty of Frightened Rabbit and their music, is that they are just approachable people. It's about the struggles, it's about making it through life, and he can just tackle these soul-crushing topics in a way that makes it palatable. It makes it a warm environment to walk through. His music hits you like a drug to this day. Anytime I turn on a song, I just instantly go to this place that's like taking a sedative. I love it. If you want to know more about Scott Hutchinson, he is no longer with us, but his band has created a beautiful foundation in his memory called Tiny Changes, which, we all want to do that as artists, just to make tiny changes to Earth. And I think he left a beautiful, huge crater on this one. But yeah, that was my story. It was magical, all of the things that I got to see with that band, and I will never, ever forget it.